This is The Scoop for Wednesday.
I'm Josh Holton with the WMNF News headlines. At least 250 evictions were filed in Hillsborough County last year by companies linked to Invitation Homes, a real estate investment firm with a significant footprint in the area's rental market. The Tampa Bay Times reports that investment firms control thousands of single-family rentals. The Times also found that some companies file for evictions at double or triple the county's overall rate. Experts say many large companies file systematically and often gratuitously, using the process to get additional fees from tenants. Sparrow Realty Investment, a firm with around 250 homes in Pinellas and Hillsborough counties, had the highest rate at about 15 filings per 100 properties. Larger companies like Amherst Group, a Koch Industries-backed firm, and the private equity firm Progress Residential were close behind. The legislature has sent a bill to Governor Ron DeSantis aimed at preventing homeless people from sleeping in public places. Margie Menzel has more.
The controversial measure passed during the legislative session that ended last week. It would bar cities and counties from allowing people to sleep at places such as public buildings and in public rights of way. It would allow local governments to designate certain property for sleeping or camping if the sites meet standards set by the Florida Department of Children and Families. DeSantis has voiced support for the bill. He received 9 bills Tuesday from the legislature and will have until March 27th to sign, veto, or allow the bills to become law without his signature. I'm Margie Menzel.
Florida's predominantly white colleges and universities are under fire from the nation's largest black civil rights group. As Adriana Andrews reports, the NAACP says it's fed up with schools pulling programs designed to address discrimination.
The National Association for the Advancement of Colored People is making headlines for its response to a handful of Florida institutions phasing out diversity programs on their campuses. This comes a year after Governor Ron DeSantis signed a bill into law prohibiting the use of state funds for any diversity, equity, or inclusion programs. That measure was part of DeSantis' Stop Woke Act and is now the reason the NAACP has stepped in to, quote, protect people of color.
It's a very inclusive concept, and inclusion enhances experiences of all students on campus.
That's Ashley White, the spokesperson for the NAACP's Equity Access Department. She says the organization is targeting schools like North Florida, Florida International, and the University of Florida because they all recently halted DEI initiatives. For that reason, she says black student athletes should attend college elsewhere.
We are encouraging them to take advantage of the opportunities that exist and to really reconsider and really think consciously about the institutions that they sign on to and whether or not those institutions really support their holistic needs and welfare.
The University of Florida issued a statement Monday saying they are reallocating the money originally set aside for DEI programs into a separate faculty recruitment fund. So far, no other schools in Florida have said if they will follow suit. I'm Adrian Andrews.
Florida school districts could soon be allowed to allow volunteer chaplains to provide services to students under a bill given final passage by lawmakers last week, as one Democrat warned that the legislature is chipping away at the separation of church and state. Written parental consent would have to be given to the district before students could receive those services, and parents must be permitted to select a volunteer school chaplain from the list provided to the school district, which must include the chaplain's religious affiliation, if any. State Senator Aaron Grahl is the bill's sponsor.
You go down the list of services that we provide access to in our schools, and this is merely adding an option that has the utmost transparency.
State Senator Tina Polsky is one of multiple Democrats to vote against the measure, pointing to the separation of church and state in debating against the bill.
Many of you are quite religious, and you use that to guide your voting and your principles and your bill proposals, and that's fine. But the minute that you try to put your religion upon other people, that's when it becomes a problem.
The volunteer chaplains would be required to undergo background screening similar to non-instructional school employees, and school districts would have to publish lists of the chaplains and their religious affiliations. The highs today in the lower 80s, overnight lows in the lower 60s. I'm Josh Holton with the WMNF News headlines.
This is The Scoop, recorded at WMNF Tampa.